Today, I want to talk to you about the Arizona Cardinals, a team that started 2021 on fire, going 9-2 entering their bye week, but falling off after that, and that's carried over to 2022. I want to break it down as to why I think they are in the spot they are, what their problems are, what they need to do to fix them, and get this franchise back on track. To talk about the 2022 Cardinals, we need to go back to 2021, Week 12 in particular, which was their bye week. After the bye week, they went 2-4 after starting out 9-2. They then lost a wildcard game in a blowout to the Rams. Now that's bad, but it's not as bad as this. In the 2022 season, they have been 4-8, losing games to the Chiefs, Rams, Eagles, Seahawks twice, Vikings, 49ers, and Chargers. They have beaten the Raiders in a come-from-behind win, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Rams. Every team they've beaten, there have been major question marks about them throughout the year. The Cardinals are not a well-structured team. They're not made for an NFL team. Kyler Murray is not an elite special talent like they paid him to be. In the future, he's going to be making $51 million on their cap hit, then $45, $55, $43, $46. His dead cap is ugly for a long time, so they cannot look to get out of it. But the real issue is Cliff Kingsbury. He was never meant to be an NFL head coach. He was hired because he was a flashy name the owner wanted to hire. Steve Keim probably wanted to keep Steve Wilks. Steve Wilks has been doing a great job in Carolina since taking over as intern. But we don't know for certain, so Keim's also on the question mark there. So how do we fix the team? We have to look at the two biggest issues, in Keim and Kingsbury, with a third one in Kyler Murray right behind them. But let's dive into Steve Keim's reign as Cardinals GM. Steve Keim has been part of the Arizona Cardinals organization since 1999, first coming on as a regional scout. He worked his way up through the organization until 2013, in which he was named general manager of the Arizona Cardinals. In his time, the most notable trade he has made has been acquiring DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson in a second-round pick. Worked out very well for the Cardinals. But what has happened with their other draft picks that he has not traded away? Well, let's start off their first-round pick since 2013. Jonathan Cooper was a guard coming out of North Carolina. Deion Buchanan, a DB out of Washington State. DJ Humphries, a tackle out of Florida. Robert Kimdichie, a defensive tackle out of Mississippi. Hassan Reddick, a linebacker out of Temple. Josh Rosen, a quarterback out of UCLA. Kyler Murray, a quarterback out of Oklahoma. Isaiah Simmons, a linebacker out of Clemson. Zaven Collins, a linebacker out of Tulsa. In the 2022 draft, he traded away his first-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens for Hollywood Brown. He's also had some notable later-round additions, non-first-round picks to be exact. He's picked Tyrann Mathieu, Logan Thomas, who has grown into a good tight end, although originally drafted as a quarterback, but still good pick. Marcus Golden, David Johnson, Budda Baker, Christian Kirk, Mason Cole, and Chase Edmonds. Byron Murphy, Zach Allen, Deontay Thompson, just to name a few. Overall, he's had a good career drafting. He hasn't been excellent, but no one is. It's the NFL draft, and if you hit more than 50%, or if you hit barely under 50%, you're a good drafter. He's also had 3 head coaches since his time in Arizona. First with Bruce Arians, which was a slam dunk home run hire. Steve Wilks then took over for Bruce after he retired, in which he only got 3 wins and was roughly fired right after that. He then hired Cliff Kingsbury, who has since been the head coach since 2019 and has posted a career record of 28 wins, 32 losses, 1 tie. Not that good. Under 500 still with your franchise quarterback Kyler Murray, who they just paid an exorbitant amount of money long term. The Arizona Cardinals are an interesting case. I don't believe they should have their GM and head coach here much longer, but the GM needs to go first before you get rid of the head coach. Who are some GMs you can name? Truthfully, I don't know many off the top of my head. One guy I'd be interested in would be Mike Mayock. I thought he did a great job with the Raiders and was fired not properly, in my opinion, by the Davis family. I think Mike Mayock can come in here, draft well, and develop well. Now let's talk about the head coach, Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury, I already mentioned his NFL career, his wins and losses. Now it's time to talk about his college career. In 2013, his first year as a head coach, he went 8-5, winning the Holiday Bowl. He then followed up by going 4-8, then 7-6, losing the Texas Bowl, then 5-7, then 6-7, losing the Birmingham Bowl, and then 5-7. His overall career record at Texas Tech before being fired was 35-40 in 19-35 in conference play. But it gets much worse. He had 13 victories over lower tier Group of 5 or FCS competition levels. Overall, he did not have a good run at Texas Tech. His offenses in 2013 ranked 23rd, 2014 ranked 55th, 2015 ranked 2nd, 2016 ranked 5th, 2017 ranked 23rd, 2018 ranked 16th. His defenses, though, were major problems. In 2013, they ranked 88th, 2014, 126th, 2015, 125th, 2016, 128th, 2017, 98th, and 2018 with the best in 87th. He had issues with defense, but he's an offensive guy, which is why after he got fired, he landed an offense coordinator job with USC that he then held for a month before getting offered the head coaching job by the Arizona Cardinals. Now, a lot of people say he got hired due to the Sean McVay effect. If you had a cup of coffee and you know him, you're going to get hired. I don't believe that was the case. Why do I believe Cliff Kingsbury was hired? He worked with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a special talent that we have never seen before, and we probably won't see for a very long time. As long as he's playing football, he's a once-in-generational talent. But why would he get hired for that? Well, a lot of people believe he helped develop him, and they ignore the fact that he worked under Alex Smith and Andy Reid for a year in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes was fine in college, but he was nothing special. He's special in Kansas City because he was under the right tutelage under Alex Smith and Andy Reid. Other quarterbacks that Cliff Kingsbury has worked with has Case Keenum, fine quarterback, Johnny Manziel, did not work in the NFL level, Baker Mayfield, solid quarterback, Davis Webb, not an NFL quarterback, and Kyler Murray, who we are really yet to see if he is the true franchise guy. A lot of people believe he is. He is paid like he is, but is he a true franchise guy? We don't know. And we won't know until Cliff Kingsbury is probably ousted and we see someone new with Kyler. Cliff is not a good head coach. I think he's a fine offense coordinator, but he's not a head coach at the college or NFL level. He has flashy offenses and worked with Patrick Mahomes, so he's going to keep on getting these high-profile jobs. I assume once after the season's over, he will be fired. He will go back to college, he'll get a good job, and then he'll be a head coach in college for many years to come. But I think after this year, he's done in the NFL. And we're going to talk about a bit of who I think the Cardinals will be hiring to replace him. Now it's time to talk about the third and final guy in what I like to call the Triple K problem, in Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's never going to be a franchise number one guy to me. He's serviceable, he'll be fine, you just got to put the right tools around him. He's in the same vein as Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's the elite guy that's going to carry you to the Super Bowl, but I don't think he's going to cost you it either. But my concern with Kyler Murray is, in a pass-heavy league, he's never thrown for over 4,000 yards. Now, he's in his career high in picks, only 12. That's not bad. He's had some sack issues. They have gone down throughout the years, but they're picking him back up a bit throughout this year. His average yard of completion is only 7. His touchdowns are 84 compared to 41 interceptions. His long touchdown in his career is 88 yards, very impressive, but we all know a lot of that's due to receiver. Total yards in his career in 4 seasons is 14,000 passing yards practically, and only 66.8 completion percentage, but it's down this year, only having 66 completion percentage after coming off a 2021 year, he was 69%. Kyler's having a rough year. I don't think it's indicative on him as much as it is the coaching staff and the talent they put around him. The line is questionable, and his receivers have not been the best. He just got back DeAndre Hopkins not long ago, and the offense has looked better with Hopkins out there, but just overall not a talented team around him enough, in my opinion, to make a big run. Kyler's fine, he's serviceable, but he's not elite. And that's what you need in today's day and age. To win a Super Bowl is elite. I don't think they have that in Kyler. Now time for my overall thoughts. And I want to start out by talking who I think should replace Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach in Arizona. There are a couple guys I'm interested in, but the main one would be DeMeco Ryans from San Francisco. He can come in, he can change the culture, and do a very good job at it. You will look at some other guys, well, I'd consider Ken Dorsey out of Buffalo. He's done wonders with Josh Allen, picking him right up where Brian Daboll left off. He's overall been doing very good. Other guys, you have question marks around the league, but I think you need a defensive coach in here to replace a lot of the personality. You need to overhaul the franchise. I think this team should look at defensive coordinator, but my one fear is they're going to go after Sean Payton. This team is not Sean Payton away from going on a Super Bowl run. I don't believe so, at least. That's just my thoughts. But why do I not really have high hopes in the Cardinals? I don't think they're properly ran from the ownership. I don't think ownership has handled this team with a lot of care. I think it's left to a lot of problems. I don't believe Steve Keim wanted to fire Steve Wilks. I believe he was forced to by ownership and hired Cliff Kingsbury. I believe ownership wanted Kingsbury. Ownership wanted Kyler. It's hard for me to entirely blame Keim about this, but I do think he is a puppet for the owner at the end of the day. You can say a lot of GMs are, but it's more here than anywhere, in my opinion, in the NFL. Do I think the Cardinals are a couple pieces away from making a Super Bowl run? Possibly, if they get the right pieces. They need to address their offensive line. The receiving group is getting old. Maybe you look on training DeAndre Hopkins. You cannot retain A.J. Green. And you need to get more stable running backs. I'm a major James Conner fan, but he's not the long-term answer. You had that Eno Benjamin, but you cut him and he's now in Houston. The defense is also very old. You have a start in Budda Baker, one of the best safeties in the league, but you need to get younger around him. I think the Cardinals are 2 to 3 years away from being a playoff team again. There are so many holes in this team, and it's going to be hard to fill them with Kyler's massive contract coming up. But it is possible if you hire the right people to run the organization. If you guys watched the video, thank you very much. If you're new, hit the like button if you did. If you want to stay tuned for my following videos, I have a podcast dropping every week with my dad. I have a Denver Broncos video dropping Sunday of how I would fix them or what I think is going to happen to them at this point and who I think is going to be named the next head coach. And hey, if you disagree with me, go down in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to debate you. But everyone, be safe and have a happy holidays.